thing and get out the heck. Hello, good evening, guys. Let's do this thing and get the heck out of here. Time to waste. Hello, good evening. Good evening. And welcome to our live class for today. So, if you are just joining us, you're welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. 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 So, guys, this is what we are going to be learning how today. Is a one shoulder dress. Thank you, Jennifer. God bless you. Awulu, thank you so much. Awula, thank you. Harriet, good evening. You're welcome. Thank you so much. So this is what we are going to learn how to cut today. Can you see this type of top? It has a yoke, but it's like one shoulder, but it has a yoke. Cecilia, so much good evening. Let me know where you guys are watching me from. So let me know. Appreciate that. You guys to hit on the like button of this video. I would appreciate that also. So the first thing we're going to do, let's draft the back and then we'll draft the. So the back is going to be normal. The back is not going to have any yoke. So I have a line here. So thank you so much, those of you that are giving me likes. So this is our shoulder line. So from this line, so let me bring it here. I think it's good. So from this start line, the next line I have is my bust point, which is 10 inches. And then I have my under bust, which is 13. Then I have the waist area, which is 16, and then the length of the blouse. So let's see. Okay, so it is a normal long blouse. So let's use 21 for the length. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mark all of these lines. So I'll connect them straight, this with a straight ruler. So I'll connect them with a straight ruler. This is our shoulder line, our bust point, under bust, waist, and then half length or the full length. So the next thing we're going to do, let's take out our shoulder. So the shoulder measurement 14 divide by 2, I have 7. I will add half of an inch, and then from that point, so let's see. Yes. Yeah. So guys, where you're watching me from. So from this point, I will mark 1 inch for our shoulders, and then that shoulder slope, I'll connect that into our shoulder. And then from the shoulder, I'm going to mark 8 inches for my armhole. Okay, so I'll mark it this way. Since this dress is a sleeveless dress, you can decide to reduce the armhole measurement, but for this I did not reduce it. I just used the aka armhole measurement, so you can reduce it since it is a sleeveless. So the next thing we're going to do now, okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to take out our dart. So for the dart, 8 inches, so I'll divide that into 2. I'll mark 4 inches across of my lines. Okay, and then I'll connect that line with a straight ruler. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out 1 inch of that 1 inch of that, I'll divide that into 2 parts, half inch. So the back is just a basic, it's just a basic bodice back. So that is why. So when we come to this, I'll make it a little bit less. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to take out our full body measurement. So our bust is 36, under bust is 30, the waist is 32. So these are the measurements that I'm making use of. And then our hem, we use 40. So these are the dimensions that I'm going to be making use of. So our bust that is 36, you divide that into 4, we're going to have 9. We'll add 1 inch that, and then add 2 inches allowance. And then we'll come to our under bust, we'll use 30, which is 7.5, plus 1 inch, that's 8.5, and then add 2 inches allowance. Okay, And then I'll come to the waist, which is 32. Divide by 4, we have 8 inches. And then add 1 inch for that, and then add 2 inches once. And then the hem, which is 40, divide by 4, we have 10. And then add 1 inch that, and then add 2 inches allowance. So these are all of the lines. Okay, these lines, I'm going to connect them together like this. Can you see? Okay. All right, this is for my back piece. So for this back piece, in case you want to add to snatch the waistline, so there's no point for that, let me just leave that for today. In case you want to add a zip to it, you add a zip allowance. Or if you want to use what do you call it, if you want to make it like a corset back, you take out 2 inches from your part. So you take out 2 inches, and then you add that. So for the neckline, so let's see what we have here. Can you see? For the neckline for the back, the neckline for the back. So because this yoke is only at the front part, you understand? So the back is going to be normal, will not have, the back is not going to be slanted. So for the neckline piece, if you see, you notice that the neckline is a little bit wide. So we're going to use about 3.5 inches for the neck. We'll mark the neckline that way. You can use 4 inches because this neckline looks like a 4 inches neckline. It actually looks like a 4 inches neckline because it is wide. But to be safe, let's just use 3 inches. So the next thing for the length, we'll use by 3 by 2. It is a high neckline. Use 3 by 2. So we're going to mark it this way. So that's the good thing of using pencil. When you use pencil, you can always adjust, clean, and then mark back. Okay. So that's for our neckline. So I'm not cutting my pattern. I'll keep that out. So the main essence, the main is for the front piece. So we're going to work on the front piece. So I have all of my lines back. I'll add all of my lines back. So like I said, the front is the main business for today. So we'll mark our bust point, sorry, our shoulder line. Okay. After marking my shoulder line, I'm going to mark my bust point, which is 10 inches. I'll mark 10 inches, and then I'll mark 13 for the under bust. And then thank you so much, those of you that are joining. Thank you so much. God bless you for joining. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, next thing, our waist, I'm using 16, and then the full length, I'll use 24 because if you notice, it has a basque. Okay, so all of those lines, I'm going to net those lines straight like this. Okay, I'll connect them. The truth of the matter is that there are some days I really don't feel like, I really don't coming up. You understand? I really don't feel like, I just have to be consistent for those people that are there, those people that really want to learn how to draft patterns. So that is why, even if I am tired, you see, I'll still carry my and just come and try as much as I can, even if it's 1 or 2 persons, at least somebody will learn. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for commenting. I really appreciate that. Somebody will learn. So that is why, like, today is one of those days that I really don't. If you notice, the notification for this video, I actually put it up yesterday. I had to change and then come up back today. I really did not feel like coming up. You understand? I really did not feel like, but I just have to, for those people that always come to watch my live streams. Okay, so let's enough me. So let's continue. So the next thing, I'm going to mark the shoulder. So like I said, this is our shoulder line, our bust point, under bust, and then the full length. Okay. We're using 14. 14 divided by 2, we have 7. Add half of an inch for allowance and then come by 1 inch. So this is for the front piece. So I just have to push myself and just still come up, okay? So from this point, I'm going to mark 8 inches for my armhole line, and then I'll connect that 8 inches. So that 8 inches, I'll use it as my chest line. Now label here chest line, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll check the midpoint of this 8 inches. I'll come in by like a quarter of an inch, and then I'll use that for my armhole curve. So when I mark it that way, I am going to connect it this way, okay? So that's for my armhole curve, okay? So the next thing, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Magdalene. I appreciate you. Those of you that drop comments, this help to just still encourage me to come up, okay? So thank you so much. The truth of the matter, like I said, today, sometimes I feel like not even doing again, sef. I get tired and just like, but for the sake of those people that will still come, that will watch and still comment, so that is why you see me. I just try as much as I can to still come and put up something for you guys. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So we're doing a bust span of 4 inches. We're doing the bust span is 8 inches, but we'll divide 8 into 4. Yeah, it's like 8 into 2. Sorry, and then I'll just mark it. So that's one nipple to nipple. But like I said, like I always say, professionally, it is called a bust span. So when we mark the bust span like this, so like I was explaining to you people the other time, that when you have patterns like this, you check and see what is the best what do you call it, the best that you should use. So this, I think we're going to do a princess dart, okay? So we're going to do like the simplest princess dart for this. Yes, let's do princess dart. So the next thing I am going to do, yeah, I am going to do, yes, is a princess dart, because the dart has to come because we work on the front. So I'm going to come to the under bust part. So for the under bust part, I'm going to use 2 inches for my dart. I'll mark that 2 inches, and then I would connect that 2 inches. I'll connect it down this way. So when I connect it down this way, the next thing I am going to do, I am going to connect it to the bust point. Can you see? So when I connect it to the bust point, the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to link this. I'll connect it to this midpoint, okay? So I want to use my pencil first. So I'll just create it because I need it to be curved. I'll mark it this way, okay? So when I mark it this way, the next thing I am going to do, I am going to extend this line, okay? I'll extend it by 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and then I would connect it this way. So for this part, I'm going to take out 1 inch from that part. So what I'm going to do, that 1 inch that I want to take out, I want to divide it into the both sides. Okay. So once I divide it on both sides, I am going to take this and then I'll blend this into my pattern this way. And then, so I'm just trying to get the best blend. But the way I am checking, I'm looking at this my bust. If I continue like this, it's going to poof out, okay? So you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to correct it. You understand? Yes, I'm trying to correct it. If I go with this, the bust is going to be too big. Okay, it's going to be too big. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do now, I am going to just connect this, just connect that, and then I would. Okay, so let's take out our full body measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do now on this part, I'm going to mark my bust measurement. So like I said, I'm using 36 divided by 4. I have 9 inches. So let me use my marker back. I have 9 inches. And then I'll add my 2 inches for my dart and then 2 inches for my stitching allowance. And then I'll come to my under bust 7.5. I'll add my 2 inches for my dart and then I'll add my 2 inches stitching allowance. I'll come to my waist. I'm using 8, which is 32. I'll add that 8. I'll add my 2 inches for my dart and then I'll add my 2 inches stitching allowance. Okay, and then I'll come to the hem. I will use 40 divide by 4. I have 10. I'll add my 2 inches for my dart and allowance. So all of these lines I'm going to connect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do for the front, it has a back waistline. Thank you so much, Aqua. Harriet, thank you. I appreciate. Thank you so much, Solange. Thank you. Appreciate all of you also. All right. So you see the kind of basque waistline. I was trying to check. Yes, you can see it has a basque waistline. So let's create the basque waistline first before we open up our pattern. When we cut it, we open up so that we can create the neckline. Okay. So for the basque waistline is a simple basque. So what I'm going to do now, let's use our pencil first to try and create that. So from this waist part, you can see. So like I normally say, always check. Can you see where the curve came from? It's just like a small slight curve. So this kind of small slight curve, can you see? Let me show you guys. I'm just trying to use my hand to just like do like a rough sketch. Can you see? This is how this particular basque is. Can you see? You see the way it came. So always learn to read your patterns, your style. Can you see? Just it came like this and then came down. So it came from here like this, from the hem like this. Can you see? It came like this from the hem, and then it came simple pattern. So like I always tell you, once you know how to read your patterns, you're not going to have much issues. Okay. So this is what we have. So I'm going to cut it out first, and then after cutting, so I'm not snatching this waistline. I'm not snatching it. Okay, so let's open up first. Can you see what we have? You see it, you see the shape. Can you see? So now we're going to open this up. Okay, so when we open up, I'm going to extend all of these lines so I will know exactly where we are. So like I said, if you are following my pattern drafting in a matter of time for our live streams, you will know how to draft patterns. You will know how to interpret. Once you see a style, you will know the exact pattern that you are going to use to create it. Okay, sometimes people send me pictures and like, how will I even know? I don't know. I don't understand the style. It is easy once you are good with the before we continue. So the neckline, like I said, I'm using 3.5 inches. Okay, so that 3.5 inches, I'm going to mark it like this. And then the length, if you notice, it is not a high neckline. The neckline is not high at all. That's this part. So you have to put that into consideration. This one, can you see, just came down. So it's going to be like 2 inches. So which is going to be like 3 by 2. So that's like the okay, so we'll mark it that way. When we mark it, so now we open up our pattern. So open up our pattern. I'm trying to get, let me just measure it. Let me not just guess. 3.5. Yes, I got it. I was just trying to eyeball it. I got So this is the neckline. Can you see? Yes, so that's our neckline. So the next thing we are going to do now, this asymmetric part now, this and slanted part, you're going to check it. You understand? So what I try as much as I do in my pattern drafting class for my live stream, I try as much as I can to show you guys how to understand pattern, how to understand the style, how to read a style. So the next thing you are going to do, you are just going to check. Okay, so now this part now, can you see? Because it is a yoke, do you understand? So you know it is a sleeveless. You see that that sleeveless will come back because you will bring that pattern back. Do you understand? So now you are going to check now. So how do you cut this out? Okay, so like I said, we are doing is a one shoulder. So since it is a one shoulder blouse, it's going to come from here. But from this side, so let me see, I hope you guys are seeing. Yes, but from this side, if you notice, from this side where we are going to be sloping it from, it has, it's not like, there are some one shoulder that you just cut. Let me see, you just cut it like this, goes off. But this one is not that kind of one shoulder. This particular one shoulder actually has a sleeveless part. Do you understand? So you put that into consideration as you are drafting your pattern. You put it into consideration that it has a sleeveless part. So what you are going to do now, you are going to determine how many inches do you want this sleeveless part to be. Do you understand? So for this, we are going to work. Let's work with like 3 inches or 2.5 inches. Why 2.5 inches? So at the end of the day, when we finish sewing, it will come to like what we have here is like 1.5 inches thereabout. So that part is going to be our shoulder part. So you can see what I'm trying to do. So that shoulder part, I am trying to like just blend that